Good morning everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Unfog with Dr. Atahar Parveen. Friends, we are here to continue with the most expected MCQs from a physics part, and this is the 5 a.m. challenge, and we are on day 4. In this class, we are going to discuss most important questions which will be higher level. Like from the previous classes, we will try to discuss little bit more tough questions in this class, and we will also try to discuss the previous year questions from HSTR and CRIS, and our assignment at the end of this class will be very interesting, that you will come to know in the last only. For that you have to watch the class till the end. Okay. So to start with the first question, now this is also from the dynamics chapter, or you can say from motion in a straight line. We have been discussing this type of problems in previous classes also, but they were little easy questions when compared to this one. Okay, so let us see the question. It is a very interesting question, and I can also say that it is a important question for CRIS and HSTR. You never know, they can ask in a TET also, and a little bit easier version of this they may ask in GPSTR also. Okay, so the question is, a car travels the first 1/3 distance at a speed of 10 km per hour, the next 1/3 distance at 20 km per hour, and the last 1/3 distance at 60 km per hour. Then the average speed of the car is. We have discussed about the average velocity in the previous classes, right? Now like that only we have average speed also. Same formula should be there. For average velocity we told displacement upon time, but then for average speed we say distance upon time, right? So basically what is the story here? The car is traveling some distance d is there. In that 1/3 of the distance it is traveling with 10 km per hour. Then again the next 1/3 of the distance it is traveling with 20 km per hour, and next 1/3 of the distance it is traveling with 60 km per hour. So basically what is the velocity here? There are three velocities. V1 10 km per hour, next velocity V2 20 km per hour, next velocity V3 which is 60 km per hour. We know that average speed, here we do not talk about displacement, right? Because we are talking about speed. So average speed is equal to distance upon total time, right? Total distance upon total time, we can say. So if I name the alphabets here from O to A, the velocity V1 is 10 km per hour. From A to B, the velocity is 20 km per hour. From B to C, the velocity is 60 km per hour, right? With this, if I know that velocity is equal to distance upon time, then what will be time? Time will be equal to distance upon velocity, right? Now, here we are talking about total distance and total time, right? But we have a separate distance here, and we can also find out separate time there, right? Like for example, let this one be T1, this one let it be T2, and let this one be T3. Then what will be our T1? T1 will be equal to distance upon velocity, right? So what is the distance for T1? It is d by 3. For T2, it is d by 3. For T3, it is d by 3, right? So in place of d, I will write d by 3. And what is the velocity? It is 10 km per hour. So what will be my T1 now? T1 will become d by 30. Like that only T2 will be equal to d upon 3 by 20 km. So it will be d by 60. Like that only T3 will be d by 3 upon 60 km per hour. So this one will be equal to d upon 180. Right? So this one now became T1, T2 and T3. Right? Now I can easily find out the average speed, right? So what is the formula? Average speed is equal to total distance upon total time, right? Now what was the total distance? Capital D, right? So this one was capital D. What was total time? T1 plus T2 plus T3. Now let us just substitute D upon what was T1? D by 30. Then we will write in place of T1 D by 30. Like that only what was T2? D by 60 and T3 was D by 180. So we will write it here. D by 60 plus D by 180. Now I can do LCM for the denominator, right? If I do LCM, I will get LCM 180 only. So this one will be equal to D whole divided by, here I will write 180. And if I do the LCM procedure, here I should get 6D. Here I should get 6 3s are 18, right? 3D plus D. So this one will give me, I will send 180 in the numerator now. So it will be 180 times D divided by 10D. So this D and D will get cancelled. 0 and 0 will get cancelled. Our answer will be 18 km per hour. So option C will be the correct answer here. Okay, clear, right? There are different velocities in equal distances of time. Now, if you know this procedure or if something clicks in your mind, then you go for this procedure. But if then you don't know about this procedure, one concept which can be applied to this question is that the car is traveling equal distances with different velocities, right? So this is the concept you can apply here. So we have a shortcut for this type of problem. The shortcut is that if you have to find the average speed in this type of situation, then you can apply this formula 3v1 v2 v3 divided by v1 v2 plus v2 v3 plus v3 v1. Okay, so what was v1? As per the question, it is 10 km per hour. What is v2? It is 20 km per hour. What is v3? It is 60 km per hour. We don't need time, we don't need distance. This is the shortcut formula to find out average speed. If this type of situation is there, if equal distances are covered with the different velocities. See, equal distances means 1 by 3 they are telling, right? 1/3 of the distance. Here also 1/3 of the distance. Here also 1/3 of the distance, right? In that situation I am telling. Okay, only in that situation this formula will work. So 3 into 10 into V2 is 20 into V3 is 60. Divided by, again, what is V1? V1 is 10, right? 10 into V2 is 20. Plus again V2 is 20 into 60 plus V3 is 60 into V1 is 10. So if you do mathematics here, then also you will get 18 km per hour. So option C will be the correct answer with this formula also. Okay, clear, right? So I wanted to give you this shortcut because this type of question we can expect this time in HSTR also and in CRIS also. Okay friends, you have to save time by using this type of shortcut methods. Another important question. Now this question maybe they will ask as it is the way I am giving you here, or maybe you will have to use this formula in some type of other question where you can use this formula as a shortcut also, maybe, you never know. But then you should be knowing this part also. So that's why I am taking this question. The question is, a man travels along a straight road for first half length with a velocity u and second half length with the velocity v. Then the mean velocity is given by. So here you will actually derive the mean velocity formula. It is, you can also call it as average velocity, but we are calling it as mean velocity because the man is traveling correct half with different velocity and correct half next distance with different velocity. So in previous problem we had 1/3 concept. Here we have half concept, 1 by 2. So first half of the distance the man is traveling with the velocity u. Second half of the distance the man is traveling with the velocity v. Now we have to find out the mean velocity. It is nothing but the average velocity only, and again the same formula will be applied, which is a total displacement upon total time, right? Now we know that average velocity or average speed, because we are talking about distance here only, or mean velocity, we have the same formula, right? What is it? Total displacement upon time, or simply because we are not talking about direction, I can say total distance upon total time. So here also concept of time is there, right? Then what is time? We know velocity is equals to distance upon time, right? So with that we know that time is equals to distance upon velocity, right? So what will be T1 here? T1 will be L upon 2 by U, right? And T2 will be L upon 2 by V, right? So with this what will be my T1? T1 will be equal to L upon 2U, and T2 will be equal to L upon 2V. So this you have to remember. Now again let us apply our average velocity formula again. So average velocity or mean velocity, this is equal to total distance. Total is important, okay? Total distance upon total time. So this is equal to, what is total distance? It is capital L, right? See here, the total distance is capital L, right? Upon total time. What is total time? T1 plus T2. So this is equal to L upon, what was T1? L by 2U. What was T2? L by 2V. So this is equal to L by whole divided by, I am telling, if I take the LCM, I will get 2UV. Here I will get LV, and here I will get LU. So this will give me L into 2UV. So this will go in the numerator, divided by L into V plus U. I'll take common. So LL will get cancelled here, and I will get 2UV by V plus U. So I will get 2UV by U plus V. So option B will be the correct answer here. So whenever we talk about the half length covered with different velocity, so what is the formula that time? We don't call it average speed. In fact, we call it as a mean speed or a mean velocity, right? So the formula is 2UV by U plus V. This you have to remember. This is the important formula. Okay, clear, right? Now let us discuss two different problems from HSTR 2015 question paper. This we can expect in TET also this time. We can expect in GPSTR also. We can expect this type of problem in easy questions range for HSTR and CRIS also. Okay. So see this question. A body of mass m kg is lifted by a man to a height of 1 meter in 30 seconds. Okay. Some m kg of a body is there. It is lifted by a man to of 1 meter in 30 seconds. Okay. Some mass m kg is there. Another man lifts the same mass to same height in 60 seconds. First one was in 30 seconds. Another for same height it is, but time taken is 60 seconds. Now what is the work done they are telling? This is a very important question, and a very important concept comes out of this question. We have work done is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity into height. Do we have time here in this formula? No, right? It means that for this entire story, time does not play any role at all. Right? So this you have to keep in your mind. So which means that this 30 seconds and 60 seconds does not make any sense here. It is not useful for us to solve this problem. Anyway, work done W1 by first man. It will be mgh. Okay. Height is 1 meter only, right? and the mass and acceleration due to gravity is also same only, it is not going to change, right? So I will write mg into h is 1, right? Like that only for second man also height is 1 only, right? So it is mg only, right? If I have to take the ratio, that is what they are telling, the work done by them is in the ratio, work done w1 by w2, everything will get cancelled, I will have 1 upon 1. Even if I don't substitute 1 here in the height, then also mgh is going to cancel with mgh, right? So that's why option 3, 1:1 will be the correct answer here, and this is a very important question. In fact, all questions which I am discussing in these series classes are, each and every question are very, very important. Okay, you will thank us later after your CET if you are attending these classes. Okay. Next. This is also HSTR 2015 question. A body of mass 5 kg is dropped from the height of 10 meter. 5 kg is dropped. Above the ground it is. Okay. So if this is your ground, no? From above the ground, the body of mass 5 kg is dropped. Then the loss in its potential energy when it reaches the ground is. So you have to find out the potential energy here. See. Same formula is used for both problems. They have asked both problems one after the other. This you have to understand. Work done is mgh, but potential energy is also mgh only, because we are talking about height here. So the loss in potential energy, mass, how much they are telling? 5 kg. Directly you have to substitute. Acceleration due to gravity, 9.8 meter per second square. Then height, it is 10 meter they are telling. So what is this going to be? This is going to be 490 joule. So option 1 will be the correct answer. You can save more time in calculation by just substituting acceleration due to gravity as 10 meter per second square into 10. If you do, it will be 500 joules. So this 500 joules is near to 490 joules, right? See the options. No one is near to 500 joules. Then also option 1 only will be the correct answer here. So this type you have to understand the problems. You have to practice in such a way that you should be readily able to answer this type of problems. Okay. So here 1:1 is the correct answer. Here 490 joules is the correct answer. Now see this question. This is actually CRIS previous year question paper. I think it is CRIS 2019 question paper. There is some I don't know, controversy in the year, because we don't know any aspirant who has written CRIS previous year. But one aspirant came recently to us and told that this is not 2014 question paper, this is 2019 question paper, the aspirant told. Anyway, whatever the year is, this is the latest question paper of the CRIS. So this becomes still more important question, because we have all older question papers of HSTR. The recent one which we can compare with HSTR is this CRIS only. Okay, so this becomes very important question from that point of view. So the question is, if the distance between two bodies of same mass is doubled, the gravitational force between them increases 2 times, reduces by a factor of 2, reduces by a factor of 4, does not change. See, Newton's law of gravitation, what does it say? The formula itself says that G into m1 m2 upon r square. Basically, force is directly proportional to m1 m2 and inversely proportional to r square. G is the gravitational constant, right? Now as per the question, the mass are same masses, right? So we don't need to write m1 and m2. I will write gm square directly like this. Now it is the question says that if the distance between two bodies of same mass is doubled, means the two bodies m and m, right? So this is the distance r. If this is doubled, they are telling like this. So what will be the situation? That is the question, right? So if my F is gm square by r square, what will be my new force? New force will be gm square by 2r whole square. So new force will become gm square by 4r square, or my new force will become 1 by 4 times gm square by r square. So this is nothing but 1 by 4 times the original force. So it reduces by factor of 4. It reduces because we are talking about 1 by 4. Okay, if it was 4, if it was like this, 4 times f, then we would say that it increases by 4. Okay, clear, right? So option C will be the correct answer here. In fact, this type of problems with same mathematical procedures have always come in GPSTR. I have seen many questions, and even in HSTR also 1 or 2 problems are there. Even in the paid classes also we have solved that type of plenty of problems. If paid classes aspirants are attending this class, then you will relate very much to what we are doing in the class. Okay, friends, we are making sure that we do not take any question from the paid classes because we don't want to give the paid class aspirants the repeated questions. We want to give the variety of questions. So paid classes aspirants, if you have any more interesting questions, if you need, or if you have anything in your mind and if we have not covered it, then you can please write in your telegram groups of your batches. We will try to include those points in these classes. Okay friends, so these were today's questions. We have tried our best to make them simpler as much as possible for you all. Now let's go for the assignment questions. So this is the assignment today. Actually we have discussed HSTR and CRISE problems in the class along with 2 tough problems. Now we want to give you assignment from GPSTR PM method and CB method question papers. So these are the 6 questions which are given as assignment to you. You have to write the answers of these questions in the comment section below or in your telegram batches. If you are a paid class aspirant, try to write answers there in your batches group. Okay, so you have to answer this 2022 question paper. This is also 2022 GPSTR question paper only. So the question first one is odometer in vehicles measures what. Then we have something related to weight. Then we have one SI unit question. Then we have one dynamics question also. Then we have friction question. Then we have another interesting question which is important question. So we are not going to give you any clue. You have to comment your answers in the comment section. So I really hope that you all have watched this class completely, and kudos to all of you for waking up early in the morning to watch our classes. This means a lot to us. As far as we get motivated, as far as we get good response from you all, we will be conducting these classes. But as soon as we feel that no one is watching our class, or many aspirants are not watching our class or not taking our classes seriously, then we will stop these free classes. Okay friends, because it is very tough for us to take free classes along with paid classes, but then we know that there are many aspirants in our channel who are waiting for our free classes. So these free classes are dedicated to those aspirants who are whole and solely depending upon our free classes. There are very few aspirants who talk business with us, which we don't like at all. Friends, we are not here to talk business. It is up to you. You can take free classes or you can take paid classes. It is up to you. We do our work. It is our work to give classes to the aspirants, to help aspirants in this journey. Rest all, you should respect our hard work, and so will we do. We will respect your hard work. That's all. We don't want anything which hurts our respect, and we also never do things which hurt your respect. You have to please keep this in mind, because we are all teachers. We should keep up our dignity.
We have a displacement time graph or position time graph. Just replace the position or displacement with velocity on y-axis to get a velocity time graph. The slope of these graphs is y-axis over x-axis. But in position time graph, y-axis is displacement and x-axis is time. Therefore, the slope gives rate of change of displacement, which is velocity. And in velocity time graph, y-axis is velocity and x-axis is time. Therefore, the slope gives rate of change of velocity, which is acceleration. In short, displacement over time is velocity and velocity over time is acceleration. Thus, you can easily translate from position time graph to velocity time graph. All you have to do is just replace the body's position or displacement with velocity and its velocity with acceleration.
Okay friends, on this note, I want to remind you all to subscribe our channel, and you can also join our Telegram group. You will get link in the description below this video, and I can assure you that as far as possible I will try my best to take these free classes. One more thing I want to tell you that it will not be possible for me to give classes on weekends like Saturday and Sunday. So those 2 days, no, Saturdays and Sundays, you can either cover all these weekdays classes as revision, or you can watch new classes from our YouTube channel. What you can do is, before sleeping, you can search for a good class which you are not good in. You can search the topic from our YouTube channel, the Unfog with Dr. Atahar Parveen YouTube channel. Plenty of classes are there. You can search, you can save that link, you can send that link to your own WhatsApp number and sleep. Morning 5 o'clock you get up, you click that link and watch that particular class which you are not good at it. Okay, so that way it will be good for me also, because I cannot take classes daily morning. So Saturday, Sunday I need little gap for many other works related to paid classes also. Okay friends, thank you, all the best, bye.